In this video, I am going to count down my top 10 tips for surviving quarantine with your spouse. If you haven't noticed, the whole world is pretty much quarantined right now, including me. And there's all kinds of news stories coming out about spouses getting at each other and driving each other crazy, ending up in huge blow-up fights. And of course, that makes sense because even if you have a wonderful relationship, you're usually not spending 24 hours a day together under super high stress circumstances. This situation will bring out the worst in anyone, and it's destined to bring up some conflict in all relationships. So I thought it would be fun to share some ideas on how to avoid fights and actually get closer to your spouse during this time. First, a quick disclaimer: if anything here contradicts the information from the CDC or from your government's health authority, please defer to them. This information is for entertainment purposes only. Before we get to the list, let's find out where everybody is stuck. Go down into the comments and write wherever it is that you are quarantined, the city and state, or just like my house, my mom's house, my girlfriend's house, whatever. I'm curious to know. All right, now that we've got all that out of the way, let's start with tip number 10, which is be gentle. Be gentle and patient first with yourself and then with your spouse. Be willing to cut them a little bit of extra slack for their behavior or their attitude because, hey, we are all going through something kind of stressful right now. Tip number 9 is to balance spending time together with spending time separate. Balance being in a couple with being individuals by doing a handful of things on your own every single day. Tip number 8 is to get better at something. Why not use this downtime to practice serenading each other with guitar or maybe sketching each other naked? Number 7 is tackle house projects. Feeling accomplished helps your emotional state and passes time. Plus, your house will look amazing when you're finally allowed to have people over again. Number 6 is stay physically active. Search YouTube for free workout at home videos that don't require any equipment. Maybe even team up and do a couples workout where you can support each other. Breaking a sweat is good for you and it's good for your immune system. And you know what else is good for your immune system? Sex! Go to town on each other. Now is your chance. Make foreplay last for hours. Take turns giving each other sensual massages. Pop the bottles. Use the rest of the coconut oil. Break out the candles. In other words, smoke them if you got them. I should say, have sex was tip number 5. Tip number 4, relive warm memories. Go through your wedding album, tell each other funny stories from when you first started dating, relive some of the sexiest sexy times you've shared. Tip number 3 is to stay connected with your other loved ones. Use this time to reconnect with people who you haven't spoken to in a while. This can help you to keep a level head, take some of the pressure off of your intimate relationship, and will just remind you that you're not alone. Tip number 2, and this is so key, is don't forget to breathe. Seriously, if you feel a well of emotion, fear, anger, frustration, if you feel like you're about to pop or just the anxiety of being cooped up starts to feel like it's closing in on you, take deep breaths all the way down into your belly for 3 to 5 minutes and then come back to the situation. I promise you, once you have engaged the belly and turned off the fight or flight nervous system that wants you to breathe like with some I know it's common advice, but it's common for a reason, and that's because it works. All right, and number 1, my favorite tip for surviving quarantine with your spouse is to document yourselves, either through a video vlog or by actually just journaling, or maybe even write letters to each other. It will always give you something to come back to, and it will help you to process what's going on in real time. Ooh, and here's a bonus idea. In order to turn everything into a game, you could actually assign yourself a point for everything that you do on every day that you're quarantined. You can challenge each other to be the first one to get to 100 points, or just challenge yourself to get to 100 points by the time that you get to leave quarantine. Bringing some fun and lightheartedness into an otherwise challenging situation by gamifying it is actually a great way to engage your higher thinking brain and get out of the parts that are feeling fearful, anxious, and facing the uncertainty. Be sure to let me know in the comments how you are surviving quarantine with your spouse, what's working best for the two of you. In the meantime, I hope that your family is healthy, well, and that you have each other. Well, that's it for me. My love goes out to you and your family. I hope that you are safe, that you are healthy, and that you will always have each other.